Hey, what's up guys, John here. A migrant family of 4 in New York City will now receive $20,000 every single month. And what's happening there is spreading all throughout the country.
A migrant family of 4 in New York could get over 20 grand a month in freebies.
20 grand a month. A few years ago, that was a doctor's salary, a lawyer's salary. Now all you have to do is come into the country. $20,000 every single month. And inside of these cities, these are the sanctuary cities where there's hundreds of locations, hundreds of cities all throughout the country offering very, very similar benefits.
A new pilot program that'll give migrant families a reloadable prepaid credit card to buy food and baby supplies.
To newcomers. That's according to Newsweek. This is what they're now called. Migrants are now considered newcomers. Now, when you look at what's happening here, for example, in New York City, they're offering top-tier government jobs to migrants. Top-tier government jobs. This isn't my opinion. She says it.
This in every corner of the state.
Governor Kathy Hochul's administration recently agreed to a proposal that could make it easier for migrants to get temporary jobs in state government.
Now, when you look at what's really going on here, you have to ask yourself this big question. As food costs are through the roof, the cost of living is through the roof.
The amount being spent on eating has hit a 30-year high.
Data shows more Americans are taking on debt and relying on credit cards to make ends meet.
When you start to give out so much money to so many people chasing a finite amount of goods and services, what will likely happen? Prices will continue to go up, putting more stress and strain on the pockets of hundreds of millions of Americans. And in this video, I'm going to break it down and show you exactly what's going on behind the scenes to help you and position you for the new America. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's really happening in America. If you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for Monday. Take a look at this. I mean, this is unreal how fast the world is moving. So here, the jobs boom is hitting federal sector too. The federal government added 11,000 jobs in January, an unusually high number, but in line with recent trends from the Biden administration, including the U.S. Postal Service. Federal agencies have seen robust growth, 86,000 jobs over the last year, not counting decennial census years, when the government hires hundreds of thousands of temporary workers. Total federal employment reached the highest in at least 20 years. What is the most stable job in an economy? It's a government job. Stable. I mean, layoffs happening all across the tech sector, all across small business, all across medium-sized businesses. Government just keeps hiring more and more and more jobs. And so if you're getting not only free housing, health care, you're getting all of these benefits, and you're getting a stable job with it, you have to ask yourself, how do Americans compete with that? Well, a lot of them are not going to be able to, unfortunately, especially as you start to see these opportunities spreading all across the country. I mean, look, for example, in Los Angeles, LAPD working to allow non-citizen DACA recipients turned officers' ability to, right? So this just came out. Then you have, Chicago invest nearly $18 million to feed migrants amid homelessness crisis. 18 million, and this is serving 18,000 daily hot meals across 21 shelters. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable how fast this is moving. Migrants costing Massachusetts $116 million in taxpayer dollars. Massive spending. Look at this.
Homeless and migrants living in hotels and motels. So just how much money is the state paying for lodging? Records obtained by the I-Team show the state has
116 million. That's the answer, 116 million. And so you just pay close attention to this. They're giving direct payments on debit cards of $10,000 refilled every 4 weeks. Refilled every 4 weeks. And you just start to add everything up. You have to ask yourself, how do prices come down? How do prices come back to a 2% inflation rate? California becomes the first state to offer health insurance to all migrants. 700,000 people, right? 700,000 adults will be eligible, right? I mean, it's shocking. But what's really crazy is that you have millions of people that have come to America that were promised so much opportunity. They were promised, a great life, and all of these promises were made. And they've gotten here. And many of them not given work permits. They don't want to work. Some don't. Some do. But they're basically told to sit still and not do anything. This is what they're saying. Sanctuary city migrants facing spring evictions in limbo. It says the problem is that we are here and we are in limbo. We are going to be in limbo for who knows how long, 2026, 2 years. In the meantime, we don't have permission to do anything. You think about that. They don't have permission to do anything, many of them, and they're just sitting here collecting checks. And this is, I believe, the beginning of something really, really big here in this country. So when you look at where America is, where Americans are, you have $103,000 is the average debt for the average American over the age of 18. $100,000. The average debt, according to Business Insider, owes $103,358 across mortgage loans, home equity lines of credit, auto loans, credit card debt, student loans. $100,000 in credit card debt. So if overall debt. So if you come here from a different country, you have no credit card debt, no student loan debt, and you're receiving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on the city and the location and the type of package that they're offering. Each city has their own benefits. But when you come, how does an American compete with that? They don't. They don't. When you have rent being $1,800, $2,000, $2,200, depending on where you're at, and then you have health insurance and you have all these other expenses you personally have to pay for versus someone else that doesn't, there's no way in which an American is able to compete with that. Considering that Americans, nearly half have less than $500. They have less than $500. They can't afford fast food. They can't. For example, Wendy's. Wendy's is going to implement a Uber-style surge pricing for your Baconator with the help of AI. So you think about this: if half of Americans have $500 and going through a drive-through costs you $20, right? You're eating up a large chunk of your overall net worth going to a drive-through, right? That's how fast America is going radical. Like in terms of pricing, everything is radically expensive. A couple of years ago, you could go through a drive-through, $5, $6, get a combo meal, get a Big Mac combo meal. Now it's 18, right? Depending on the location. And so you're just starting to see these prices. I saw this. Would you like to try our new finance option for your $20 meal deal with a firm for 6 months, 0% APR? Now, I personally think, they're making a joke of it. I personally think that, we're probably a year away from that. That's where I think we're going, where people are going to be financing them, because food prices right now are at a 30-year high, and it's eating up more than 11% of their disposable income. 11% of income is going directly just to feed themselves. It's gotten so bad that Americans are turning to gardening, hunting, and extreme couponing to combat rising cost of food. It came out just a couple days ago, Business Insider. You just start to kind of connect the dots here. But one thing that I saw that was very, very interesting is what's happening in Venezuela, what's happening in a lot of these other countries. Because Venezuela, it says, for a new millennium, is Venezuela sending criminals, right? This is what they're saying. And then you see this, you're like, is that real? Like, is this actually happening? Then I saw this, and I just typed in, because I heard their crime rate was down. And I said, Venezuela's rate of violence dropped to its lowest levels in more than 2 decades. Following years of massive migration, in both criminals and victims, fled the nation's economic crisis, right? And then you click news, and you're like, oh, Yahoo News is reporting on this. Bloomberg is reporting on this. All these different locations these different media outlets are reporting on it. Reuters. You have to ask yourself, are they coming here for the free benefits? Are they coming here for a better life? If the answer is yes, then what happens when some of this free money dries up? Because it's not going to go on forever, possibly. And if this money dries up, could this become a real problem for Americans? It's a valid question, and I guess we're going to find out the answer to this. Presently, we're spending about $451 billion a year with all the costs for migrants or newcomers, right? $451 billion. And when you have record homelessness, 653,000 people on the street, many of which need assistance, mental health. They need real help. A lot of people need real help. Veterans, we have almost 40,000 vets on the street that can't provide housing for themselves. The cost is just through the roof. They need help. You have all these Americans that need help, but they're unable to get it, right? They're unable to get it. And, one thing that could actually happen is migrants are going to get a lot more help than, Americans. Universal basic income in Texas, for example, a Texas judge was proposing to, issue UBI to migrants. And so you can see the direction in which America is going. You can see very, very clearly where things are headed. I believe what we're going to be walking into is going to be a situation where cost of everything are going to continue to rise. Energy prices, food prices, everything is going to continue to get more and more and more expensive. They're going to say that inflation is going to go back to 2%, 3%. You have to ask yourself, how would that actually happen? I would love for that to happen, but how would that actually happen if you have millions of people that are now receiving, decent amount of money, decent amount of money, some $10,000, $15,000 a month, some, $2,000, $3,000 a month, but receiving a good amount of money with no debt and free housing. If you have a situation where you don't have to pay housing, you don't have to pay health care, and you're given money, at a bare minimum, if you're given $2,000 a month and you don't have to pay the other expenses, it's almost like making, $6,000, $7,000 a month, $8,000 a month. It's like $100,000 a year. That's a pretty good life, right? It's a pretty good life. I don't know. What do you think about this? Where do you see the prices of everything going? Do you think we're going to see, because of inflation probably going up, do you think we're going to see these packages get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's going to put more stress and strain on the everyday American consumer? And the big question then becomes how is this all going to get funded? If the economy continues to soften, the job market softens, and tax collections continue to erode because purchasing power is continuing to get punished, U.S. consumers are not going to be spending as much, and it's just going to ripple through the economy. Are we going to see a situation where we're just going to see taxes, overall just grow, and we're going to see a lot of problems coming for the U.S. economy? And with that, the net result is going to be more and more and more problems. It's going to be a ripple effect. It's not going to be a situation where, we just, increase taxes on a small majority of it, even a majority of people, like the rich. It's not going to be that type of situation. We're walking into a situation where the middle class is about to get absolutely leveled over the next couple of years. Tax collections, as they're continuing to erode, we're going to see some really, really crazy new policies to offset all of these, all of these deficits with taxes and all these other, California has a $68 billion deficit. But all these other cities and states with these massive deficits, how are they going to fill these holes? With new radical policies. That's how they're going to fill it. Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive wealth transfer we're in, we'd love to help you on my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any issue at all on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session for Monday. Catch you next video.